So Eric July has made it his life's goal to save comic books from the woke SJW agenda by Marvel and DC. So much so that he has campaigned his own comic book and has gained millions and millions of dollars to finally stick it into Marvel and DC. Or has he? I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen no evidence of this amount of money, but if he has, hey, good for him. He did what he wanted to do. He campaigned successfully. He got his money. If he did, we don't know. I like to, I like a little bit of, the evidence, but which he hasn't supplied. But he's making his own comic book, and as he says, it's going to save the comic book industry. So so you would think that Eric July is just gonna sell his comic book, promote the story, promote the art, promote it as as a great story for all of his fans, to pick it up. No, he's just molding like a little baby towards other people who literally just criticize it, so even playing the race card, which is kind of funny considering the fact that he, young Ripper literally built his whole channel against identity politics, against the whole SJW identity politics that skit. So that and also molding about actual fandom, which is literally a very which is like in comparison, and no disrespect to him, but literally actual fandom is a very much smaller channel compared to his, and he's literally molding over him to the point of challenging him for a debate. It's like, oh my god, this guy's so pathetic. But you know what? I think I'm gonna let actual fandom, say it best. Oh my god.
It's clobbering time.
After issue number 1 of Isom, I guarantee you the sales are gonna dip dramatically. Every issue after, it's gonna fall. And the reason for that is because, I mean, for one thing, even just Marvel
literally every issue after issue 1, the sales will always go down, and this goes towards every comic book. Even comic books with tremendous critical acclaim always get a sales dip. It just happens. A lot of people don't collect floppy single issues, like they used to back in the old days. They just don't. A lot of people largely get trade paperbacks, hardcovers, omnibuses. Those are largely where a lot of the money comes from, especially in digital. Floppy, single issues. It's a lot of people consider it a very outdated model, and a lot of people just largely just go by digital, which I do think is, it is the future. I mean, digital sales, hardcover sales, omnibus sales, trade paperback sales just go up every year. That's largely where a lot of people are getting these comics from.
DC or whatever number 1 issues of things sell way more than anything else, which is the reason that they're always rebooting to number 1 or starting new runs at number
Marvel,
1.
DC are always doing that.
His sales are going to dip for subsequent issues because a lot of people are not buying a comic book. They're paying him to own the left.
And that's the thing a lot of people really need to understand. Like, I don't believe for a second that his fan base are genuine comic book fans that are upset with the quality of comic book. Because here's the thing. If that were the case, they would go to other publications, because Marvel and DC aren't the only game in town. There's Image, there's Boom, there's IDW, there's Dynamite. There's a lot of I literally own comics from multiple different publishing companies. Dark Horse. Like, if you don't like Marvel and DC, that's fine. You have other options. And if none of them satisfy your needs, that's on you. That's on you. It's not I was at the company or the writers. That's just on you. You just have to deal with it, your own way.
They bought a comic book, yeah, but that's not the main thing that they really wanted. They're going to get the comic. They're going to talk about it like it's the best thing ever, sure. But
they're going to get it for bragging rights, nothing more.
Really, what's driving those sales at this point is sticking it to the woke mainstream comics industry or whatever it is, right? That's what's driving it. Once they've done that one time, a great many of those people will not pay for another thing from him. They will feel like they've already done the thing, sent the message to the woke media or whatever. They won't.
Yeah, like I highly doubt they're gonna keep collecting issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, issue 4, issue 5, issue 6, issue 7, issue 8, issue 9, issue 10. They're not gonna do that. It's just gonna get that one issue, maybe issue 2, maybe. But outside of that, come on, they're not gonna do it. Oh, Sun Spider.
What's really funny, this
Sun
book
Spider.
has Spider Ham and Spider Mobile.
So this dude really getting mad, getting agitated about a spider character that uses crutches. While at the same time, as T. Franklin pointed out, there is SpiderVerse comics of Spider Ham, Spider Ham, Spider Porker, There's a Spider Mobile. There's even I don't know if they even show it, but there's a Spider T-Rex. There's a freaking Spider T-Rex that's swinging with his little arms. But a disabled person swinging is where they draw the line. Come on, man.
A pig and a car, but a disabled spider person is the fucking problem. And yeah, both of these characters, Spider Dune Buggy or whatever it is, and Spider Ham,
Peter
have
Park
existed
car
in the Spider-Verse comics since the original. They didn't make
oh my
any
God,
videos
Dune
about
Buggy is
that.
an actual living entity. T-Rex. Oh my God, I still laugh at that. Aunt May Spider-Man. Ma'am. Spider-Man.
What
The fucking fuck? Oh my God, but yeah, like, come on. So many different freaking spiders. There's even a fucking Spider-Man Noir where he uses a gun. He killed the killer of Uncle Ben. He literally, bam, bam, shot that motherfucker. Come on.
These two ride around in a rainbow dress or scarf.
This dude sees a character with a rainbow and just like, this dude is triggered by freaking rainbows, man.
For whatever that is that they are certainly wearing.
Damn rainbow dresses. It's to the point where they probably don't think of a rainbow any other way. They're probably like, if he's out mowing the yard or something and sees, a rainbow, oh man, it's gay outside. It's gay outside.
I feel kind of bad laughing at that.
Outside today. What, the sky's going woke now?
Oh yeah, but yeah, my dude sees fucking rainbows. And he's like,
Peter Darker. It's a female one,
Darker.
I think from the UK or something like.
Peter. That's not her name. I personally don't know the name because I haven't been paying that much attention. Here's the thing: when I don't really care for something, I don't pay attention to it. That's just me. That's just, to me, that's just normal. But I at least know for a fact that no, she's not from the freaking UK. It's New York. It's always New York. They literally always put all the spider characters are largely always from New York.
Yeah. So now we have this whole web of spider nonsense that I've said before is one of the worst mistakes Marvel had ever made.
One of the worst
mistakes. Really. Get him.
mistakes Marvel has ever made was creating the Spider-Verse concept and then making a worldwide animated phenomenon that.
Wait, by the way, let me add some history to you fools. The Spider-Verse concept was very first, like the first introduction really to the whole concept of the Spider-Verse was in Spider-Man the Animated Series, I believe in the last season, where Spider-Man, I think is going through a test, with Madam Web, and he meets different Spider-Mans from different parts of universes. He meets a Spider-Man who's basically Iron Man. He meets a Spider-Man who has 4 arms. He meets a Spider-Man who is just an actor. But he literally meets a Spider-Man who portrays the character of Spider-Man, who's just an actor. So, yeah. And then it got more popularized with the Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions video game, which was highly loved by fans, which introduced a lot of different concepts that weren't introduced in the comics of those characters at the time. And Dan Slott, who loved that video game, who has credited that video game for giving him the idea to do the Spider-Verse comic. That's how it is. It was an idea from years ago before the woke took over. That's how far it goes. And also, one of the worst mistakes of that, motherfucker, No Way Home is an amalgamation of Spider-Verse and One More Day. And it's universally loved by Spider-Man fans. and it was one of the first, I believe. Yeah, I think the first film to make over $1 billion in the pandemic era. Like, come on, man.
Like, how can he possibly believe?
Also, shout out to Into the Spider-Verse animated film, which is fucking beautiful, amazing film. Love that film. Oh man, like seriously, like if it wasn't for the Spider-Verse, we wouldn't get those No Way Home and Into the Spider-Verse, which I love those films to death. So it's like, yeah, miss me with that bullshit.
Believe the shit he's saying, dude. No Way Home and Spider-Verse, billion-dollar movies, exist because of Spider-Verse, what he calls nonsense. That's
Literally
a mistake.
Now you have a million spider folk, which doesn't even make sense when you consider Peter's origin or anything.
It doesn't even make any sense when you consider Peter's origin. Dude, it's a multiverse. I mean, maybe he doesn't understand the concept of the multiverse, or maybe he does and he's just grifting.
For a guy who claims to be a long-time fan, because he has claimed these in videos, for being a long-time fan, why is the multiverse concept foreign to him? The multiverse concept has been around in comics for decades and decades. Even if I remember correctly, even long before I was even born. I'm pretty sure even before he was born, that was always a concept.
Who knows? The idea of a multiverse is not new. It's new to mainstream consciousness, for sure. Like, just pretty much SpiderVerse really introduced the idea of a multiverse. But, you know, it's been around a few years now. It's been in a couple of billion-dollar movies. It's been in Loki.
Got a freaking What If cartoon, which was, again, universe very successful. Again, come on. I mean, the whole What If comics that have been around since the 70s, where the whole concept is literally basically how the timeline changes just based on one decision, and it just floats around into a completely new timeline, multiverse.
It's been in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. It's right there in the title. To say that it doesn't make any sense to have multiverse versions of a character is to fundamentally misunderstand the modern state.
Used to want to save this company from itself.
If he's been,
I highly doubt he gives two shits about Marvel or saving it. I highly doubt it. This dude gives two rat's ass about saving Marvel or saving anything in general. Like, this dude doesn't give a fuck. Come on. Well, I want to save this company. Come on.
Saying he wanted to save the company for years, and yet Marvel keeps doing better and keeps selling comics.
Had aspirations of maybe working for that company way back in the gap. Those days are no longer. And
back when he was probably an actual fan, back when he probably actually loved comic books. Yeah, I could believe that. I could believe that, maybe wanted to work with Marvel. I thought of wanting to work with Marvel, back when I wanted to be a cinematographer. But, some things are just not meant to be. But the difference is that with me, I just chose a different career path. This dude basically just saw money in a grift and basically threw all those possible aspirations out the window. He could have been a very good writer for the company. Maybe he could have done some successful stuff with Marvel. I will never know, because he chose his path.
Oh, bitterness. And just like with a lot of these guys, there's a bitterness because they either were part of the industry and then rejected, like Ethan Van Sciver, Chuck Dixon, or they just wanted to be part of the industry but were never talented enough to actually get their foot in the door. Same thing with this guy.
Money.
I mean, yeah, and that's the title of the video.
This company is going to make me so much money.
There we go. Now the mask comes off. But yeah, it's all about money. Money for you. Hey, I give you props. You at the very least, admit it. It's all about the money. That's why you do these videos about the money, dude. That's why you do these videos ranting about every fucking thing, every fucking Marvel actor says, every fucking book Marvel releases, it's for the money, nothing else. Not from a worry of the industry, where the industry is going, or because, you're sad of the state of Marvel. Come on. Come the fuck on.
I mean, yeah, and that's the title of the video, by the way. This company is going to make me so much money. So at least he admits it. He admits that he is grifting on the backs of Marvel. He can't sell his book on its own merits. the resentment that he is building, and him and others chuds have built towards Marvel and DC mainstream comics, and also representation within those comics. It's all an admission that his comic is not interesting or inspired enough to just grab people's attention.
Yeah, because like something that Mark Brooks said, great fucking Marvel artist. If your book is good, you can sell it on its own merits. You can sell it on its story. You can sell it on its art, and you can tell people, "Hey, look, if you're not interested, that's fine. I hope you give my comic book a shot, and hopefully, I get your attention." That's all you have to fucking do. But no, you're selling your book on the back. This ain't woke. This is apolitical, and it's gonna be the most greatest shit of the entire fucking planet. No book has ever no writer ever does something and mentally does it without adding any politics. That's not how we work. That's not how humans function. We have our own biases. We have our own perspectives, and it's always going to come out in our work. That's just how it is. It's human nature. If you say you don't want to put any of your politics or any of that stuff, it does. The only thing it tells me is that you don't have a soul, or you're just a shallow human being. It just tells me you're shallow. It doesn't exactly write up confidence in your work. Okay.
One thing I want to say about Isom and Eric July, I give him props because clearly he has realized the importance of representation in comics.
I mean, that's
right?
true.
He created a black superhero, and I assume, I haven't heard him talk about it.
Oh, seriously, him making the belt buckle a fucking cross, I'm just like, non-political, dude, really? Like, come on. Come on, dude. Come on. The cross, like, I swear to God, if any other religious symbol was in any other character, this dude would freak the fuck out.
But I assume somewhere in there was the logic that, he wanted to see himself represented in the comic that he creates. Otherwise, he would have created Isom would be a white dude or whatever. But no, he made him a black dude because on some level, whether he realizes it or not, Eric July knows that representation is.
He knows. I would argue he knows. He just doesn't give a shit because he has his fan base, he has his money, and that's all that matters.
These positions at all. Let's take a look at that.
Steve Franklin. Steve Franklin making that money. They're getting them sales. Mind you, a Harley Quinn based on the animated series sold more than a DC event, an X-Men event, and Hulk. That goes to show you how good that fucking book is, and it is good. I've been reading it. It's just so much fucking fun. Second printing, baby. Get money. She did her own Kickstarter campaign for her comic, got picked up by Image Comics, sold out. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. That's how you fucking do it. Very happy for her. Can't wait to see more of her stuff in for Marvel and DC.
Her hair is green. Is she trans? Is she one of the alphabet rainbow? If Marvel put out a book with the character with that hair, they'd be like, look how woke she is.
Okay, I mean, really, come on. Look at that cover. Look at that cover. Exactly. Look at that cover. Look at that cover. A black dude fighting a chick with blue hair, with blue greenish hair. Come the fuck on. I would honestly, if someone were to put Marvel and New Warriors in there, you bet your fucking ass these motherfuckers would be making 5 videos a day. 5 fucking videos a day. And be disliking that fucking trailer announcement like a motherfucker. Because again, these guys don't
a Marvel
care.
Brand on this comic book with the black guy and a girl with blonde and green hair, and you put that out, then it's a Marvel comic. they're going to call it woke just by looking at this cover.
Yeah, and again, that just shows that, again, Eric July, Ryan Kinnell, Ethan Van Sciver, Quartering, you name it, et cetera, they don't give a shit about comic books. They don't buy them, they don't collect them, they don't read them, they don't care. If the comic book industry tomorrow died, they wouldn't care. They'd be celebrating when the pandemic started. So many writers were losing their jobs because the companies had to do like cuts, to save money. And so many writers basically had their books canceled. They had to be let go. And these guys were celebrating that. They were celebrating it. A lot of comic writers were putting pencils down, which I believe symbolizes when you've been let go from a company. And these guys were celebrating that, saying this is what happens when you hire woke. They don't care. They don't have any passion for this. And again, look, if you have issues with the comic book industry in terms of its practices, that's fine. That's completely valid. But when it's about politics that you don't like or agendas you don't care for, the problem isn't the comic, the problem isn't the company, the problem isn't the writer. The problem at the end of the day is you. And that's just how it is.